You might be sick of the typical if they say X, I say Y objection handling training. Don't worry, I'm not here to give you a script in terms of you do this if they say that. In this video, I'm going to go over the exact tips that's allowed me to effectively handle objections naturally without sounding copy and paste. So before I get into anything, in my opinion, objection handling is 90% energy and identity and 10% words. If you come across needy, pushy, like you want the sale that more than them, then you're cooked. You know, you're toast. You're not going to get that sale. It's as simple as that. If you want people to open up to you, feel comfortable around you, and feel like they can really just tell you the honest truth about what they're feeling, then adopting the oak tree approach is really going to help you overcome objections without even being phased. What do I mean by the oak tree approach? The oak tree approach is leaning back into your chair, being completely calm, non reactive, and just under control. An old sales manager of mine taught me that the person who is the most comfortable in the conversation has the frame and has the authority. So you want to be an oak tree. You want to be grounded, rooted in the ground, calm and collective. Because if you're not calm, if you're not collective, do you think the other person's going to be? The oak tree identity is being confused, not judgmental. The oak tree identity is being curious, not judgmental. It's being confused and not annoyed. It's pretty much being non combative. The second point in handling objections is handling them before they come. A lot of people have mixed emotions in terms of doing this, but in my opinion, if you handle an objection in the discovery phase before they even come, it makes it 10 times easier to even overcome them. What do I mean? If something doesn't make sense to you, if there is a red flag that's been given, attack it straight away. Probe into it. Find out what they mean about that specific thing they've said. If something doesn't make sense and if something's catching your mind, a red flag, don't just ignore it. Don't just move on. You want to make sure you attack that straight away and jump on it so that when you're actually handling objections, when you're coming to actually closing the sale, that doesn't come up again. It's already handled, it's already been done. For example, let's say someone says they've been thinking about buying a product or service or making a move or changing their situation for 4 months. That is a big red flag to me. That shows that someone is likely probably going to say they need to think about it again. So, what I want to do in the discovery phase is attack this. You've been thinking about this for 5 months. Just out of interest, man, like why? What has made you think about this for so long? If you get someone to open up about the reasons why they have not moved forward with something and really get to the root of that and get them to understand why, they're not going to bring it up again. You think if you really hold someone accountable and really go into depth in terms of why they have not done something and thought about something for so long, do you think they're going to say, I need to think about it? Probably not, because you've attacked that. You've made them aware that that is not going to serve them. Another example, let's say someone says they're going on holiday. That could be a potential objection of them saying, I don't want to start now. I want to start when I get back from holiday. So you want to tackle that. Oh, you're going on holiday? Are you going to let you going on holiday stop you from potentially move forward in your career? Or moving forward with getting better marketing systems? Or moving forward with improving your business this way? Look, if you ask the question and identify it straight away, they're likely not going to say, I need to wait because I'm going on holiday. Another example, let's say someone lives with a partner and they make a lot of decisions and do everything with the partner. You know, you want to probe into that. Okay, so does your partner know you're on the call at the moment? Like, are they aware that you're going through this issue? Are they aware that you need help? Okay, sweet. Like, do you share the finances? Do you share decisions in the house? Yes. Okay, so like, why isn't your partner on the call? Identifying it straight away is just going to handle it 10 times easier than if you're going to identify it at the end of the call. The next one, and it's when you get hit with the objection. A lot of people think, okay, if they give me a think about objection, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that. It's a lot simpler than that. Just find out what they mean. It's as simple as that. Look, a lot of people say these things like, I need to think about it. I need to consult my partner. It's a lot of money. What does that actually mean though? Like, what does I need to think about it mean? What do they need to think about? It's too much money. Like, that can mean so many things. That could mean they've got the budget, but it's just a bit of a big jump taking it. It could mean no budget whatsoever. They've not got the money. They really want to do it. It's just out of their budget. You know, there's a few things it could mean. So, unless you actually ask, what do you mean by that? Or what does that mean? Or what do you mean specifically? Unless you actually probe into it, discover more, you're not actually going to be able to handle the objection because you don't understand it. Another example, it's not the right time to move forward. What does that even mean? Look, a lot of people move on and say, yeah, I completely understand. But do you actually understand? Like, do you actually really understand what that person said? If not, then why are you lying? Why don't you just be honest and say, no worries. Like, I'm not too understanding of what that means. So, do you mind like unpacking that a bit? Like, do you mind telling me a bit more about what that means specifically? Or like, yeah, you want to think about things specifically. What's coming up for you? 9 times out of 10, if you just probe, ask why, ask what they mean, you'll be able to handle most objections because you actually understand it. You can actually give advice and you can actually reframe their objections knowing what they're going through instead of just assuming that they need to think about it because of this reason or that reason. It could be a completely different reason. So, this point is just probe and ask what they mean. Simple. This next one, a lot of people fail to do, and it's just making someone feel heard. Sometimes what someone needs is someone to just say, yeah, like, that's pretty shit. I hear that. Someone to just sit with you, sit in the pain, and just resonate with you. If you want someone to open up, if you want someone to be honest and really listen to you, you've got to make them feel heard. People don't want to speak about your problems. They want to speak about their problems. They want to know that someone is invested and interested in their situation. So just sit with them and resonate with them for a second. For example, let's say it's a fear based objection and you've identified that it's a fear based objection. Sit with them for a second. Like, I'm sure you've been fearful in the past of doing something, so tell them that. Look, man, I completely appreciate that. I think it's pretty normal to have fear coming up for you. And if I can be honest, like, I've been through the exact same thing. Like, I was in your position. I felt fearful. I was terrified to take the jump, right? But do you feel like to get to a situation where not many people are, do you feel like you can do it without feeling fearful? Probably not, right? Like, that's an example of just sitting with someone and resonate with someone. You don't have to have a little sob story. You don't have to really get on your hands and knees and say, look, I really appreciate you. Just make them feel heard. Don't be a robot, be human. People want to just speak to someone. Another example, if it's a lack of confidence that they're facing, boost their confidence. Like, you've got the communication skills, you've got what it takes, you've got the drive, you've got the ambition. Like, there's no reason why you wouldn't crush this. Stuff like that, really just boosting people's confidence. Sometimes it's not crazy reframes that people need as much as they do have a place in objection handling. Most of the time, it's just a bit of confidence. It's just sitting down with someone. If it's skepticism, resonate why they might feel skeptical. Look, I appreciate it. I think it's pretty normal to be skeptical because there is a lot of crap in this online space. What you really do need to do is just break down the green and the red flags, what you see and the logic. So, is there any red flags that you've seen to make you feel like maybe your skepticism is right? Or maybe, we are not who we say we are. Maybe I'm a paid actor or this is a green screen. No. Okay. No worries, man. Good to hear. Is there any green flags that you've seen to make you feel like, you know what, we do what we say we do? We do get the results we say we do. And what you're doing is you're just attacking it straight on. You're resonating with them. Also, ask them, like, do you mind if I ask a personal question? Yeah. Have you been burnt in the past at all? Okay. Do you mind telling me a bit more about what that looks like and what happened there? So just sit with someone, understand their situation, resonate with them. Sales is really just about listening to people, understanding their situation, and making them feel heard, making them feel like you've listened and you've got a solution. Now, this last one is the biggest change that I made and the hardest change that I made to really just skyrocket my objection handling success. And it's just implementing question based handling. When you were a kid and your mum or your dad used to say, you've got to eat your veggies or eat your veggies because it'll make you healthier. Like, did you ever listen to them? Did you ever think, you know what? They've said it once. I'm going to do it for the rest of my life. Probably not. They probably had to say it time and time and time again. People convince themselves. They can't be convinced. They have to come up with the idea themselves. So, how can we convince a little kid to eat his veggies? You can just ask him questions to make him just convince himself. Sweet little Timmy. So, if you don't eat your veggies and you become unhealthy, What do you feel like is going to happen 6 months after not eating your vegetables, being really unhealthy? What do you feel like is going to happen to your health over a long period of time? Do you want to be in a position where you have health problems? You know, you can't do the basic things in life because you've not eaten your vegetables? But what if you do, though? Like, what if you do have these health issues? What are you going to do then? Okay. So, what do you feel like you need to do so you can live a healthy life? You don't have any health problems. You don't need to worry about getting ill or having health problems. Notice the difference though. Like, do you notice the difference between saying you're going to get unhealthy, this is going to happen to you if you don't do this, versus just getting someone to convince themselves? This is so important. But that is pretty much it. Look, as you can tell, I'm not using cringy little, oh, if they say X, I say Y tactics. That does help sometimes, but what you really need to embody is the identity, the energy you have coming across when you are objection handling, and also knowing when to leave it and when to just say, you know what, let this person have a think. Let this person just chill because he can't be pushed right now. If you have any specific questions about technical objections, specific objections that you guys are struggling with, drop me a message on my Instagram in the link in the bio or my Facebook. Happy to help. Let's get rocking and rolling.